All right, guys, as the end of the year nears, I had to get one of the coaches on that's had another incredible year, one of the best in the game. You know him from being behind such legends as Luke Rockhold, Daniel Cormier, Cain Velasquez, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev, Umar Nurmagomedov, and the list goes on and on and on. The one and only Javier Mendez is kind enough to join me live from Las Vegas. Javier, welcome back to the program, man.
Thanks for having me on. Good to be on. Just got in from San Jose. Yeah, it's good.
What are you doing in Vegas? Bit of a gambling trip.
Training camp for Umar and Islam. I just joined. I wasn't with them till tomorrow.
Dude, before we get into those fights, we're nearing the end of the year. I want to ask you, you've had a crazy year, a lot of highs, a lot of big moments. What stands out to you as your top moment of the year?
Top moments. Man, I don't really know, to be honest with you. I guess there's three good moments. Umar, for me, beating Sandhagen the way he did, that was a top moment for me. Islam going through adversity and submitting Dustin the way he did in spectacular fashion, that was really good. And then basically the rematch with Alex, that was great for Islam too. Man, Usman Nurmagomedov, he was amazing. His fight, man, I don't know. They're all good.
When you have that many good moments, it's a good problem to have. And man, I'll tell you another great problem to have, having two massive fights on one card. UFC 311, you've got Umar challenging Merab for the title. You've got Islam rematching Arman. How does it feel for you to have these two massive fights back to back like this in one night? And not only that, but the big pay-per-view back to kick the year off.
It feels really good. You know, this is going to be a challenging task. We've had back-to-back fights. We've had the semi-main and the main, you know, many a times, but I've never been involved with two world title back-to-back, especially two very important ones back-to-back. So that's going to be a definite challenge, you know, but we've been here before, so it's not going to be as big a deal for me as it is everybody else, because I've been here before. I have the longest experience out of all the guys, you know, cornering. So I'm not going to be nearly as nervous as they are going to be. You know, I'll be probably the most calm guy.
Yeah, well, Khabib, we saw the footage of him when Islam submitted Dustin. How are you going to keep this man calm enough to make it through these two fights? Because, you know, Umar, when he goes out there and if he beats Merab, I imagine Khabib is going to be absolutely ecstatic, right? Because of his relationship, obviously, with Umar. But then you got Islam going in for that rematch, right? So what's the game plan to try and keep him a bit more chill this time around?
Well, I realized that it's too difficult to chill the whole gang, not just him, all of them, that now I'm not even trying. All I'm doing is focusing on the fights and make sure I don't miss anything. So I'm not trying to chill them anymore. I just let them do what they got to do. That's what they are. I've accepted that I really can't make too much changes like I would like, but it is what it is. You know, they're going to go crazy. They're going to stand up when they're not supposed to. The commission's going to tell us, sit down. And I'm just going to do my thing. I'm going to just focus on the fight. You know, I'm going to let them do their thing. I'm going to focus on the fight because I have had no success in the past, and I don't see how it's going to get any better for me. Let them at some point get better on their own. I'm not going to do it. It's too much.
It creates a lot of great footage after the fight. I just love it because you're like, in that Islam Dustin one, Khabib's like going crazy. And you're like, he's got it. It's all good. So it's going to be great to see what happens here. Let's talk about Islam and Arman first. Obviously, you and me have spoken about this before. People look back to that first fight and the fact that Arman was able to have a competitive fight with Islam. This rematch, both fighters have advanced their skills a great amount. What kind of fight do you think this is going to be compared to that first one that Islam and Arman had, which was a bit more competitive?
I think it's going to be similar in some aspects, you know, because Arman is a really tough competitor in all areas. So I think we're in a very interesting fight. Where it's going to go, I don't know. I see it on the ground, transition after transition. I see the stand-up being good exchanges back and forth. So, I know I didn't realize I got my jacket all messed up.
It's all good. Looks good. It looks
I,
good.
I, I look at this as going to be a really, really, really challenging fight for us, and it's all based on what a great competitor Arman is, and they fought each other before, and they're both different. So let's see what he gives us. Let's see what the game plan is going to be. I've yet to be in the camp where we can discuss how we attack it. Habib already has a game plan. I'll just come and add my 2 cents to what needs to be done, and that's pretty much it. I mean, they pretty much already have the majority of what needs to be done. They're really well established in game planning and strategies and the whole bit, and how to train properly for each fight. So there's a lot of knowledge between me and Habib's father and other great coaches that Habib's had the privilege of being under, you know. So that's all the tutelage of what's been brought to him when he was a little boy from his father to what I've done with him, you know. So I'm continuing to do things with him, but less and less, because he knows so much now. And his own experiences, he has a lot of experience on his own that he shares with the fighters that I can't experience because he went through them.
Let me ask you this. How different of a fighter is Islam today to the Islam that fought Arman before? Like, from your perspective as a coach, how much more has he powered up and advanced compared to that time when he fought Arman?
Well, you know, when he fought Arman, he's definitely a much better fighter, more well-rounded, smarter, you know. But in all honesty, you know, he was really sick on that fight too. So, you know, that was not the real Islam that fought him that time. But then again, you know, Arman's improved so much. So forget about what happened the first time. That doesn't count. Doesn't count at all, because this is a new version. Arman's been on a good roll as of late, you know, and you know, Islam, obviously, he's got an unbeaten streak of what, 13, 14 fights now, you know. So it's been a good run for both of them, you know. And now they're going to meet each other, and let's see what happens. You know, I'm curious to see, you know, what kind of tactics they're going to come at us with. And you know, the good thing about Islam, like I've always said, you know, Habib and I can change him from second to second, minute to minute, you know, 5 round to 5 round, you know, because he's that good. He's so well-rounded. We can change directions on him, you know, any way we want. So we'll have to see what Arman gives us or what we force Arman to give us. But we can change. Doesn't matter what we need to do. Islam is good enough in all areas to be able to do it. And I've said it many a times, you know, he's the most well-rounded, you know, fighter in the lightweight division history as champion, most well-rounded. And I still hold to that.
What do you think of Arman training with the last man to beat Islam, Adriano Martinez? Did you see the footage? He was. It looks like he was trying to pick his brain ahead of this rematch.
I think it's worthless, only because you know Adriano got a good left hook in as he shot in, and it landed right on the money, and it's worthless. I mean, that's one shot. That wasn't a fight. So you know, I think it's worthless. I don't think there's any value to it whatsoever. In my opinion, as far as, unless you want a mental edge, you know, like maybe he destroys, you know, Martins, and so he goes, okay, so that gives me confidence going to Islam. But you know, that fight was too early to gauge anything on, other than he got a good shot in, and that was it. It was an early. I was believe less than a minute, if I remember correctly. It didn't last long at all, so it's hard to gauge anything on that.
Interesting things happening in the division. I don't know if you saw, but I had Ilia Topuria's coach on a few days ago. He basically confirmed Ilia is done at featherweight. He's moving up. He's obsessed with fighting Islam, and he's so obsessed with fighting Islam that he's trying to get a fight with Charles Oliveira in May in order to get a contendership spot against Islam. What's your reaction to Ilia being this obsessed with trying to move up divisions and trying to get to Islam, even foregoing defending his own belt?
I think that's great. I mean, he's motivated. I mean, he's a champion for sure, and he's proven it. And he's going up in weight. I also was told that his coach there said he was 187. You know, which is amazing.
He was walking around at 82 kilograms. He said, with a cut down.
Islam, I don't think has ever been that heavy. You know, so Islam, when he's in camp, training camp, when he starts camp 2 months out, Islam's about 179. You know, 178. So he's around, is be over 180, you know. So him being a 187, that means that, you know, and I don't think he's fat, you know, he's kind of a wide guy. He's kind of like Alex in a way, but you know, he's a little stockier. I mean, Alex is a little stockier, but they're kind of similar. and Alex being one inch shorter, right? He's 5'6", and Ilia 5'7". So, you know, the guy's a great fighter. He's got the best boxing hands in the business, I feel, best technical, anyways. You know, and you know, he can do a lot of damage if he goes up in weight. But you know, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not interested in that fight whatsoever. You know, at the present time, I'm more interested in you know, him defending against Arman. And let's see what happens after that. I mean, you know, who knows? Maybe the welterweight title is available at that particular time. I don't know. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm just talking. The UFC is going to make that decision what they want, and what they want is what's going to happen. So Islam is going to say yes when the UFC says this is your next contender for your title. It's going to be a yes. But you know, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves and think that Arman's going to be that easy. No, he's not. Arman's going to be a task. You know, and we have to focus on him in order to make it easy. You know, if we don't focus on him to make it easy, it won't be easy.
He wants to fight Charles Oliveira. From your perspective, who do you think would win that fight between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira? I mean, Charles is far from an easy fight for anybody, right?
No, Charles is not an easy fight for anybody. And I slightly favor Ilia because of his power and his boxing precision. And Charles is great, but, you know, he's good with everything. You know, he's coming with the knees, he's coming this. So anything with Charles, you can never count Charles out. He was a world champion for a reason. He's a great competitor still. And you know, him and Arman's fight was, he came really close a lot of times to submitting Arman too. So you can't count him out. Can never count him out. That guy still is a world beater, you know, and he could definitely be a title contender again real soon. So let's say he does fight Ilia, then all of a sudden Charles beats him. Then all of a sudden we have a rematch with Charles, you know, which would be warranted at that point. So let's see what happens. But him coming up in weight and wanting to stay at lightweight, it's a good step in the right direction versus coming up to weight, then staying back down at featherweight. That doesn't really do very much for Islam. So if he fights another lightweight at lightweight, that means, okay, now people will look at him like he's a lightweight. He's a true, legit lightweight.
It's hard, right? Because Islam, you know, he fought Alex. He had to defend against Alex, which went up a weight class, but he hasn't had his chance, like you mentioned, to move up to welterweight. What do you think needs to happen for him to go up to welterweight, you think? Let's say, like, is it just Bilal not being the champion anymore? Is that what would then propel him into welterweight? 100%. That's the only thing, right?
100% is Bilal. They'll never fight. That's just the brotherhood. They just won't break that. And I don't blame them. They're not fighting for just anything. They do have their loyalty to each other, and Bilal is our brother, and they won't fight him. No.
Do you think Bilal beats Shavkat? How do you see that fight going?
You know, you can never count Bilal out on anything, because I thought originally that Leon Edwards had the slight advantage, because I was told that when Bilal got eye poked, I was told that Leon was controlling the fight. So I was scared a little bit for Bilal. So I was thinking it wasn't going to go so good for Bilal. But then, you know, I didn't see the fight, but I heard that Bilal dominated him from the very beginning until the very end, where Leon got some good, you know, got in good position, but it was too late. But so you can never count Bilal out. He's in what, 11 fight win streak now. So, you know, you got to give him props. You know, he's fought the who's who too, and he beat him. So you can't count Bilal out, no matter who he fights. So Shavkat and him, it's going to be a great fight. Shavkat, I was just in Kazakhstan, and what a beautiful country, you know, and people. And so he's huge over there. Shavkat's really, really big in you know, Kazakhstan, you know, and I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see what's going to happen, but I don't really know. Obviously, you know, my heart's with Bilal, you know, but that's a tough fight.
Yeah, it's crazy. You watched the Shavkat fight in Kazakhstan, which is insane. And I was talking to Shavkat during fight week, and he mentioned that Khabib's dad actually cornered him for one of his M1 global fights. It was a last minute fill-in as well. So there's a real connection with Shavkat and respect for your team as well. So yeah. I mean, he's a great fighter. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top there. Let's talk about Umar and Merab, man, because this whole thing has been an absolute roller coaster. I remember a while back, you came on, you said, look, I hope Merab, you know, takes this Umar fight. I'm sure he's not trying to duck him. But since then, Merab's basically tried to call out everybody in the division except for Umar. He tried to fight Sean O'Malley. He wanted to fight somebody else afterwards. Piotr Jan afterwards. And then after that, we saw that eventually he agreed to fight Umar. What do you think? What actually happened behind the scenes from your perspective? Why do you think Merab took so long to come forward and want to fight Umar?
I don't know. I was trying to figure out what's the purpose. He's not afraid of Umar. He's not afraid of anybody, So was he avoiding Umar? Of course he was avoiding him. He was saying, I'm not fighting him. He's not worth it. He didn't earn his place to be here. But, Umar doesn't decide whether he deserves the place or not. The UFC does. And he was at the spear for that very reason, because they told him, you're next. So he was there for that purpose. So for him to disregard Umar being there, it had nothing to do with him being afraid of him. I don't believe that. What's the real reason? I don't know. I still to this day don't know, but I'll never believe that he's afraid of Umar, or that he's afraid he'll lose to Umar. I don't think that either. I just think, there's something else there. What it is, I don't know. I don't know the answer. I just do know that he did avoid him, but not because he's afraid of him. For whatever other reason, I don't know. And I do know that he did come up and he did tell Dana that I want this fight. I'm tired of people talking. So I know that happened. And I do know that Umar did get the call in the middle of the night type of thing. And Umar said yes. So I do know that. And I do know that the UFC has been trying to make this fight happen. And Ramadan was one of the issues. And, all those things were coming around, So there was a lot of moving pieces, It wasn't just one side or the other side. It wasn't Umar saying, I'll fight him anytime. No, it was couldn't fight during Ramadan time, which is, it's well known with my guys that that's a time that they will not fight, So it's a subject to try to get them to fight during that time, because they're not going to. Their religious beliefs are their religious beliefs, and they should be left alone, and they are left alone from them. They're not touching it.
It's interesting because they had an interaction in Vegas, and Merab almost tried to confront Umar. He said all this stuff about social media to him, and it was almost like he was trying to get in a fight with him. And I wonder, in the past, that hasn't really been a good idea with your team and Khabib and the guys to kind of be disrespectful during fight week. Were you kind of surprised that Merab was kind of taking it to that level with Umar and almost getting to that point where he was almost trying to challenge him to a fight or something because of this stuff that's been happening on social media?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like my conspiracy theory is, I think Merab, and this is just me going off the top of my head. Why I think he's a genius in trying to create this fight, make it bigger by doing what he's doing. Because, when you watch him do all those funny videos he does, they're pretty genius what he does. They're pretty genius. So is this a ploy for him to make this fight more interesting than the main event? Because it's getting more attention for darn sure. So is this something he's doing to create more buzz, more pay-per-view dollars? I don't know. It could be. I don't know. I do know one thing. I will never believe that he's afraid. I will never believe that. He's a great fighter. I've watched him fight. I thought he was going to be our toughest challenge ever for Umar, and I still believe that. So that being said, is he playing us? Is he making these things up just to create some controversy? No, I don't know. It's possible, or there's another reason. Yes. Only thing I'm not buying is I know he's not afraid of anybody.
It's interesting because when he fought Sean O'Malley, he almost got in a thing with Sean O'Malley's coach. And now, he's building this fight up with Umar. But it's a dangerous game to play, though, with your team, right? Like Khabib and those guys, they don't like disrespect during fight week. Do you think it could get to a point where, Merab could go too far? Or do you think Khabib and the guys understand that this is just a part of the promotion?
I think as long as Merab keeps it between the team and even me can attack me, I think that's okay. That's fine. Merab hasn't gone disrespecting anybody's country, anybody's religion, anybody's wife or family members. So I think Merab has not done anything out of line. So for me, what he's doing is cool. I let him continue doing what he's doing. He's creating interest. Everybody's talking about. They're talking because he makes no sense. He makes zero sense in his comments towards Umar, and Umar makes complete sense. He goes, brother, you don't want people coming after you. Let go of the belt. Then I don't want you no more. I want the belt. That's it. So Umar's not after him. He's after the legacy what that title represents, and representing the Nurmagomedov clan, and continue to defend that belt and keep it at 29-0. That's his goal. He wants a legacy, and that's his thing on his mind, not Merab. But Merab just happens to be the guy who holds the title. So that's it. He has zero dislike for Merab, zero bad things to say about Merab, other than, you have the title, I want the title. Umar's a great kid. He's not dirty. He doesn't do bad things. He keeps it clean. He's not going to talk anything bad about Merab in any bad way. He's just going to state facts, and that's all he's done.
I want to thank our sponsors for making Submission Radio possible, and of course, Manscaped. One of the sponsors that's been with us the longest is your go-to this holiday season. I want to talk to you guys about the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra by Manscaped. Don't be that family member who shows up solo and scruffy to yet another holiday gathering. Get your winter overgrowth under control with the Weed Whacker 2.0 and that Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, baby. It helps you seal the deal this cuffing season. Who knows, you might even outshine your weird uncle who's still rocking the goatee from 1985 and claim your spot at the top of the sibling power rankings. It's the all-for-one grooming kit. You got the Lawnmower 5.0. Of course, we know this thing is the best. The Weed Whacker 2.0 for your ear and nose hair. And of course, the Bowl Aftercare. And the free gifts included the Boxer 2.0, which is the Midnight Bravo, and the Shed 2.0 toiletry bag, which I love to use during the holiday time myself. It is what I'm wearing right now. Go to Manscaped right now, use the code word submission, get a massive discount, free shipping, plus you're supporting the show. A big thanks to Manscaped for supporting the program for all these years. Speaking of great things this holiday season, why not try Saily? Saily is your eSIM that keeps you connected wherever you go around the world this holiday season. You only have to download it once. It's affordable prices no matter where you go. Global and regional plans. It saves you time. You don't have to wait in line at the airport to get a local SIM card, which I absolutely hate. You can avoid scams that, obviously sell you the fake SIM cards at those airports, outside train stations, and other little areas. All Saily eSIM plans are compatible for iOS or Android services, 24/7 support, and you get a full refund if your device isn't eSIM compatible. I just downloaded the app. Here I am. Here I want to travel to France, and boom, it's that simple. All you guys got to do is download the app, go through the prompts, and you're sorted, mate. Go to saily.com/submission. Use the code word submission and get a massive 15% off your first purchase. Try Saily this holiday season. Trust me, it's an absolute game changer. Speaking of this holiday season, when you're traveling abroad, thanks to Saily, you're able to connect with everyone. What about staying safe? Thanks to NordVPN. NordVPN is the best VPN out there, the very best app out there. You can try it risk-free today by clicking the link in the description. Why do you choose NordVPN, do you ask? Well, you got the Threat Protection Pro, you got the global service network. It's incredibly fast, reliable encryption, safe from disruptions, and 24-hour support 7 days a week. You get a 30-day money-back guarantee as well. If you don't like it, you don't have to keep it. Try it for 30 days. What do you have to lose? And of course, don't forget, you've got the Nord Locker file encryption tool. You've got the NordPass password manager. It's all happening at NordVPN. Protect yourself on public Wi-Fi. Find yourself cheaper deals online. Get yourself cheaper flights, cheaper streaming services, cheaper everything thanks to NordVPN. Protects your data and all your information. You don't want to lose your credit card information during the holiday time. Trust me, it is the worst thing that can happen to you. And of course, you can connect up one account to 10 devices. So you're absolutely sorted with NordVPN. Get this massive deal right now, plus 4 months extra free by going to nordvpn.com/submission. NordVPN is the best VPN in the game. Jump on it now. Now back to the program. Crazy though. Did you see that footage of Merab getting in a fight with a fan at the event as he was walking out? It was like a swinging battle. I think it might have been one of Umar's fans. But it's just insane sometimes with Merab because he's so passionate. It just makes him so unpredictable during these fight weeks, right? Like a full swinging battle on the way back with Aljamain. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm talking about. He's a master at building. He made it look like that was a plant that Team Khabib planted that day.
Yeah, he did a whole video like this guy was like planted.
That's what I mean. So you understand what I'm saying? This guy's a genius. So why is he doing what he's doing? Is this his ploy? That's what I'm trying to say here. Is this guy is a smart guy, very very smart. So is he planning all these things? Because how do you think of all these things he did? Think about before O'Malley fight, all those little Instagram postings. They were really funny, all of them. All of them were really funny. But this one he's doing, maybe this is the opposite, but still the same effect. trying to get interest, you know, and maybe that's what he's doing. I don't know, but fighting with the fans, et cetera, you know, and then pointing out that, oh, that Khabib team put him there, which, you know, if that ever happened, that would be horrible, because I would be really, really upset if that ever happened. And I know that my guys.
There's no truth to that, though. The guy's not related to you guys. You know this guy that was in the fight at all? No.
I've never seen this guy in our fight camp. I definitely believe he's probably a fan, and he might know Team Khabib, but he's never been in fight camp with us. He's never been around us. I don't know him. Definitely a fan for sure, and definitely has pictures with Umar and Khabib, definitely. But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, so many people have pictures with them. Doesn't mean they know them. I mean, a lot of people show pictures of me saying that they know me, this and that, and I look at the pictures, and they go, "You know this guy?" I go, "No." You know, it's like, I know I take a picture with him, but, you know, I take pictures with a lot of people. Doesn't mean I know them.
Exactly. I'll tell you though, man, I am excited for the fight. How hard of a challenge do you think is Merab? Because a lot of people are saying stylistically, obviously this is a great fight, and you have two guys that are in their prime as well, which happens very rarely when it comes to the title picture these days. How hard of a challenge is Merab? And how do you see this fight going now that it's locked in and official?
It's to me, I thought this was going to be that Umar's toughest challenge, and I still believe it's his toughest challenge, because we have to be ready to go 5 hard rounds, not 3 hard rounds, not 4, 5 hard rounds, because, you know, Merab can go 10, you know, so we're going to have to be ready for that. That's my biggest challenge, is keeping up with the pace of what he can do, you know, because Merab can go on and on and on. He's an energizing bunny, you know, guy doesn't stop. You know, and so that's going to be a challenge in itself. And he's dangerous everywhere. Submission-wise, he's not as dangerous as Umar. Striking-wise, he's not as dangerous as Umar. But wrestling-wise, he has a slight better wrestling than we do, I believe. And, you know, but Umar's got his takedowns too. It's not like Umar can't take him down. Umar can take him down, and Umar will take him down. You know, it's not going to be one of those where avoiding the takedown. No, we'll take you down too. If we go to the ground, we're not afraid to go to the ground, because now he has to worry about Umar being on top of him, not being on the bottom. Umar will get up. He will get up. He'll turn in a reverse. He's really good at that. So I don't see that as being a problem, but I do see this fight as being a problem because of Merab's great cardio and his champion heart. This guy is a real champion, and look at all the people he's beaten already. He's destroyed these guys. Peter Yan, how much of a chance did he have? And Peter Yan's a great former champion. And look what he did to him, you know, and look what he did to O'Malley. He made O'Malley look normal. He didn't make him look like anything special. So taking Merab not serious is stupid. You know, he's our toughest challenge, and I still believe he's our toughest challenge. And but we're gonna do it. It's just gonna not be easy at all.
Yeah, I mean, he even beat Henry Cejudo as well. That was impressive too, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Let's go to a couple of fan questions before we wrap up. I got one here from Kevin, Real Kevin K. He wants me to ask you, who's the best 5 players at Dagestan basketball in the gym? Are you impressed by anyone, Javier? Anyone that's real talent?
Dagestan basketball, Islam for sure is one.
He's on the starting 5. Yeah. Who else?
Khabib kind of bulldozes people, so he definitely in that mix. Shara is he's pretty good, and I would say Gaji, the PFL lightweight champion. He's pretty decent, and there's one more, but I don't remember his name. But those are the ones that stand out to me as pretty good. Number 1 being Islam.
Yeah, wow. I'd love to see a full game one day. Question number 2. So we've already spoken about this. Would Islam ever go up to welterweight to fight for a second belt? No, he wouldn't move up if Bilal is the champion. The only way this happens, right, is if Bilal loses to Shafkat. So it could be potentially a Shafkat Islam fight next year.
It could be, but I don't see Bilal in him unless something happens between them. But I don't.
Bilal wants to move up to middleweight if he defends his title enough. So who knows? Yeah. Maybe that will crack. If Islam does move up, would he retain both belts, or would it be a move up for good to welterweight, in your opinion?
It would be cool to keep both belts if the UFC allows you. That's what I would do.
It's interesting as well, because I think in a few interviews, Islam has said he's probably got a few years left in the sport, right?
Yes.
A few more years. So it's like the time is ticking. We want to see this happen.
Yes. He's gonna probably do what Khabib did and retire at 35. Well, Khabib did a lot earlier, but But I think 35 is the magic number for these guys. In their head, they have that already, that 35 is the cutoff point. And some will go over, but I think Islam is already set financially. He's done really smart with his money. So I think it'll probably be a lights out after 35.
Last question here is Charles Oliveira getting the next title shot after Arman. I mean, from Remember the Glaze. So for you, you mentioned it before. You want to see Charles beat Ilia Topuria potentially, and then that could really solidify him as the next contender.
I don't know if I want to see Charles beat Ilia. I just, I'd like to see that fight happen. And I think Charles has a chance to beat him, but I'd have to be honest and feel that I feel Ili's probably a little slightly favored, but anything could happen. I like Charles, but I like who he is as a person, how he acts as a person. I respect him immensely. And so, in other words, if they did fight, I'd be pulling for Charles.
It's interesting because people, what do you haven't had a chance to break Ilia down, but if you were to fight him down the track, what do you think is the best path to beat him? Because his striking is good and he's got some decent grappling on him too. Do you think there's a clear pathway to beating Ilia?
No, I don't think there's a clear path to him. I think his chin might be one of the things you might be able to capitalize on if he can land the right shot, and Charles is really good with knees. But it being that he's shorter, so that could be an advantage for Charles in the kicking department. Ilia known to be a great kicker, but a good kicker, so that's an area that Charles could potentially expose. And the length, Charles got longer length, so that could be to his advantage too if they end up fighting.
He still wants to submit Islam, though. Isn't that crazy? That's what he keeps saying.
Well, from the way they talk, that he dominates everybody at his gym over there. But it's like, okay, that's fine. Because I made a comment that you come to Dagestan and you do that over there, and then you got my attention. But you can submit anybody you want at your gym, and you can say you have the same caliber of people that Team Khabib does. But okay, well, look at all the killers they're at Team Khabib right now. Who holds all the lightweight titles in the world right now? Who? And the big more major organizations. Who does? Team Khabib. So you can't say you have killers like they have in Dagestan, because they don't. Nobody does.
I just see the fight like Islam being like, yeah, you want to come and submit me? I'll let you get the first takedown. You know what I mean? Like, for you guys, it's probably better if he tries to do that, right? And thinks he can do that, then stick to a game plan. That's probably more likely.
Well, we don't mind. I mean, the ground. These guys are phenomenal on the ground, and like Islam, I've never seen Islam get dominated by anybody other than Khabib. But that's it. Nobody else has ever dominated Islam on the ground. And Arman, way back then did really well against him. But like I said, he was sick, and I hate to say that, and it makes like I'm making excuses, but I'm just stating facts.
All right, man. Well, let me tell you something. You've had an incredible year with the team. You have so much to be proud of. Congratulations on everything, Javier. Absolutely killing it. You've got a massive card to kick off the year once again, UFC 311. We're going to have Umar fight for his long-awaited title shot against Merab. We've got Islam in the long-awaited rematch with Arman, and we've got yourself returning with the team. I wish you a very, very great Christmas, New Year, and a great training camp in Las Vegas. And thank you again for all the great memories over the year and coming on the show, man. It means a lot to me, and I can't wait to see more memories get made next year.
Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Awesome, dude. All right, that's it, Javier. Thank you so much. Have a great. Are you going to spend Christmas over there, or?
Yeah, in Vegas, yeah.
So your family's going to come up, or?
No.
Okay.
I'm here myself.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a fun Christmas, New Year, and holiday season. And again, thank you for everything that you've done for us. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.